Let's talk about one of the biggest questions out there. How should we live our lives? For centuries, two big ideas have been battling it out: asceticism versus hedonism. Now, this debate is ancient, but you're about to see just how important it is for us today.
So I've got to ask you straight up, which side are you on? Are you team discipline or team pleasure, self-denial or self-indulgence? We're so used to thinking of these as two opposite camps you have to choose between. But what if that's not the whole story? Not even close.
I mean, this is the image that pops into your head, right? On one side, you have the lone ascetic, up on a cold mountain, all about that discipline. And on the other, you've got the life of the party, surrounded by people, chasing pleasure. They look like they couldn't be more different. But are they really? Let's dig in.
Okay, so first up, asceticism. And yeah, I know what you're probably thinking. Hardship, suffering, basically no fun at all. But from a philosophical point of view, it's not about that. It's actually a strategy. It's all about subtraction, but for a really, really powerful reason.
And look at that word right there, conscious. That's the whole game. This isn't just about forcing yourself to go without things. It is the conscious rejection of what is unnecessary. The point isn't to suffer. The point is to get something much more valuable: clarity, discipline, and focus.
So how's that supposed to work? Well, by getting rid of all the stuff that's not essential, you cut down on the noise, both the noise around you and, maybe more importantly, the noise inside your own head. Think of all the distractions, the notifications, the mental clutter. Asceticism just says, get rid of it. And when you do that, you can actually concentrate your attention and unlock all this energy for what truly matters. It's about being effective, not miserable.
And listen, this isn't some new productivity hack. This goes way, way back. Let's take a trip to ancient Greece. You have this philosopher, Diogenes, who's a pretty famous example. The guy literally lived in a barrel and owned next to nothing. But he wasn't doing it to punish himself. He was after a radical kind of freedom. Freedom from stuff, and freedom from what everyone else thought he should be doing. For him, asceticism was about being your own boss, not about hating life.
Now, fast forward to today, and you see this exact same idea playing out, just in a different arena. Asceticism has become a tool for super high performers. Think about Steve Jobs. That iconic black turtleneck wasn't just a fashion statement. It was part of a minimalist lifestyle designed to eliminate distractions so he could pour every ounce of his energy into the product. Or look at Elon Musk, who's known for rejecting comfort, even sleeping on the factory floor, all to push towards his big goal. They're using these ancient principles to manage their most important resources: their time, their attention, and their brainpower.
All right, let's flip the coin. Let's talk about hedonism. Now, if asceticism is all about the power of less, is hedonism just the chaos of more? Well, it turns out it's a lot more sophisticated than that. You could even call it an art.
On the surface, yeah, it's pretty much what it sounds like. Hedonism is the philosophy that says pleasure and enjoyment should be a top priority. It's about indulgence, gratification, feeling good. Seems simple enough, right?
But here's where it gets interesting. Does prioritizing pleasure just mean it's a total free-for-all? You just do whatever feels good right here, right now, with no thought about tomorrow? Well, if you ask the original hedonist philosophers, they'd give you a hard no.
And this is where most people get it wrong. Real philosophical hedonism isn't about mindless excess. It's actually about two key things: measure and sustainability. A true hedonist is a master of self-control, and they're always asking these three questions. What kind of pleasure is this? How much of it is right? And the big one, what are the consequences down the road?
Even back then, it wasn't just one single idea. You had these two big thinkers with totally different takes. On one side, you had Aristippus. For him, pleasure was all about the now, the sensory experience, really savoring that amazing meal, feeling the sun on your face. But then there was Epicurus, and he saw it differently. For him, the greatest pleasure wasn't some wild feeling of joy. It was actually a state of total calm he called ataraxia, basically the absence of pain and anxiety. And you got there through living simply and in moderation.
But what we call hedonism today, it's kind of lost the plot. It's a completely different beast. The focus has shifted from creating an inner feeling of peace to just chasing the next external hit. We've traded careful measure for constant stimulation, and we've replaced conscious choices with automatic, knee-jerk reactions. Pleasure has gotten all tangled up with consumption, and it's totally disconnected from that original, deep philosophical idea.
So we've got these two paths that look like they're going in completely opposite directions, right? Rejection versus pursuit, asceticism and hedonism. But What if I told you they were both trying to get to the exact same place?
Yeah, I know. It sounds a little crazy. I mean, despite all their differences, how could that be possible? But when you strip everything else away, you find out they are both built on one single, absolutely crucial idea.
And this is it. This is the big reveal. The common goal for both is mastery over your desires. It's all about making sure that you are the one in control of the things that bring you pleasure, the things that cause you pain, the things that distract you. It's about being the master of your own mind, not a slave to every little impulse that pops up.
Let's just look at how they do it. The ascetic focuses on action and getting results. Their method? Reduce all the noise to get that laser focus. For them, the pleasure comes later, after they've achieved their goal. The hedonist, on the other hand, is focused on stability and safety. Their method is to reduce risks to keep their peace of mind. For them, pleasure is that stable, peaceful state. So you see, they're just different strategies for reaching the same destination, a life that you live on purpose.
So, what does this all mean for you and me? Well, the best part is you don't actually have to pick a side. You don't have to join a team. Instead, you get to build your very own philosophical toolkit.
See, at the end of the day, the goal isn't to become a perfect ascetic or a perfect hedonist. The goal is to find balance. And what is balance, really? It's having the ability to choose deliberately. It's having the awareness to know what you need, the stability to actually do it, and the freedom that comes with having real choices.
So here's the bottom line. Stop thinking of these as labels you have to wear. They're just instruments. They're tools in your toolkit. Sometimes you're going to need to be an ascetic to cut out all the distractions and go all in on a project. And other times, you're going to need to be a hedonist to cultivate some peace and enjoy the simple, sustainable pleasures of life. The real skill is knowing which tool to pull out of the box and when.
Which brings us right back to the beginning, but with a huge twist. The question is no longer, which side are you on? The real question, the much more powerful question is, which tool do you need to pick up right now? Are you trying to build something that needs intense focus, or are you trying to find a little peace and stability? The power and the choice is all yours.